It's a show that, looking back on it, seems like it made a poor bet when Shedeur go up against Caleb, Brou.
Who, me?
You didn't make the poor bet, Danny.
No, I made a great bet.
You made the wise bet.
He took advantage of me.
I think you did. I totally agree with that.
I don't bet. I should have got odds.
Yes.
I mean, granted, I don't think Shadur was even within close to Caleb, so it might not have mattered, but yeah.
Did feel like you got taken advantage of.
I want a ribeye. Bone in, medium rare, old fashions, seafood tower, bottle of red for the table.
Tower?
Seafood tower.
Yeah,
Wow.
All the prawns.
I always get a seafood tower.
Yeah, seafood.
Got to.
Yeah, and you know what I really like at steakhouses?
Seafood tower?
The things that next to the description just say market.
Market price.
Yeah. There's no number, no way to tell.
See what the veal market's up to. We owe Danny and Caleb an apology.
I owe Danny dinner, and you and Greg or Coach, whoever joins us, dinner. I mean, I thought I was next to Danny, who is the Caleb guy. I thought I was like the Caleb guy for the first 2 hours.
No.
Nick dropped a banner
Giving him to Danny.
saying, I'm done with this guy.
You're not the Caleb guy.
Based on an article.
Nobody thinks you're the Caleb guy of the first 2 hours.
I'm not against Caleb, but I will give him an apology because he was phenomenal. Now, that throw was probably ill-advised. It was awesome, but probably ill-advised. I thought it, like, initially I was like, that was a pick, right? Somebody, like, one of the Browns got that. It's a phenomenal throw. Probably ill-advised, but I'm not going to get mad at his confidence. He was great against one of
this angle.
A great defense, not a very good defense.
Yep.
That Browns defense is good. Obviously, had Myles Garrett breathing down his throat. So great game by Caleb in every way. Shedeur struggled.
Yikes.
Now rookies, they go up and down, but he struggled. 3 picks against that great, defense as far as making interceptions, getting takeaways. It was an ill-advised bet. Speaking of ill-advised, ill-advised bet by me. I'm gonna have to hide it from my wife when I take you guys out.
Luckily, she doesn't watch the show.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I will just say, like how Wilds is beloved in Kansas City. Good thing you apologized, because after that take, you were not exactly beloved in Chicago, I can say. But we said that we had to be fair. Like Wilds and Nick were going to be the arbiters of who really won the bet. So
So we're gonna have.
I think we should just like go to the tail of the tape and just compare the two. Who was better, Shedeur or Caleb? Well, I mean, it's pretty much universal across the board on the right. I thought this was an interesting note. The passer rating discrepancy between the two starters was the 8th largest of any matchup this season, in terms of one starter outdoing the other guy on the right. But that's a little confusing, Brou. It's a little confusing. Passer rating, outdid by 80.
Danny's never been known as being a gracious.
I just
Passer rating is not confusing.
Well, how do we calculate it? Nobody knows. So let's just look at all of the numbers. Let's just look at every possible stat. He won all of them. Yeah, it was universal. He won every single one across the board. So yeah, Brou, apologies.
I need a double or nothing. So.
No
double or nothing.
No double or nothing. I am cashing out right now. But I will say this. I feel bad for Nick for abandoning Caleb because that was arguably the best game he's had as a pro. He was spectacular in sub-zero temperatures against the top 5 pass defense. He made every throw. His numbers would have been even better. I mean, the first drive of the game, there's a dropped screen pass where the broadcaster stood talking like that would have been a 50-yard touchdown if Monungai even catching it. So he was kind of let down by his opponents. And Ben Johnson has said since training camp they're going to be playing their best ball at the end of the year. If, they got Jalen Johnson back, best cornerback. They're getting Tremaine Edmonds back this week against Green Bay. Like if the defense gets better and this is the version of Caleb they get going forward, they're a very dangerous football team.
Yeah, and their biggest competition in the division suffered, sadly, a devastating injury to their best player on their entire team in the Packers, and they get them this week. I think we all agree Caleb played really well.
He was phenomenal.
can I pivot the conversation slightly to the other quarterback?
Sure.
Because the reason that I thought Brou got such the bad end of this was not necessarily because I was as confident as Danny that Caleb was going to play an awesome game. It was because I thought a game like this from Shedeur was, I don't want to say likely that he throws 3 picks, and one of those picks is pretty unlucky. Like I thought,
just like a great throw.
Just like you said, the Caleb touchdown you thought was going to be picked. The Shedeur pick on the front of the end zone, I thought was a touchdown, and it ends up being an interception.
The guy had it,
right? And Jerry Jeudy had it. But how much do you guys think? If last week for Shedeur was 5 steps forward, was this game 4 steps back? Like how much
7.
did? So hold on. You think?
I watched every snap of that game. The first sideline report of the game was that they changed out his wristband because they felt like they couldn't articulate play calls at the line of scrimmage. They had 4 penalties by 8 minutes into the game.
Well, one of them was for 12 men in the huddle.
No,
I think some of
that's on the quarterback.
I think it's on the quarterback, but it's also on the head coach too.
Well, the quarterback's supposed to be the last guy to enter the huddle after he counts the number of guys on the field. He looked terrible.
So, but hold on. You said so. You think that he is further behind in his quest to be like the Browns quarterback next year right now than he was going into last week? Because that's why I said
it can't be
5
7.
steps forward, 4 steps back. Like I still think I think last week bought him a good margin of error.
Yeah.
My question is, did this week erase that? And now basically is he again starting from scratch? Because 3 picks, 5 sacks, the procedural penalties, all of that to me against a defense that, while opportunistic, is not considered a great defense. That to me, Brou, was super concerning.
I say 3 steps back. Rookies are up and down. I mean, it's just the nature of it is what it is. And I didn't expect them to play great, but I didn't expect Caleb to play great. I thought they both would be okay and Shedeur would be slightly better. But, I mean, look at every rookie in the league. Look at Caleb last year. Even Caleb at times this year, but up and down is what it is. So, I mean, Caleb was having trouble with the operation early in the season. So you got to give, Shedeur some leeway in that too. He wasn't good. I'm just saying, like you said, last week was so good. Yeah. This week was bad. But again, rookies are up and down.
Sure, and if we're doing the big picture Shedeur thing, I mean, I just can't compare him to number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams. I don't think you get that grace as a 5th-round pick.
That's what I would do.
When they're going to have a top 5 pick who they could draft a quarterback to replace him. I mean, he had an okay statistical game against the Raiders in which he had a 66-yard touchdown when 65 yards were after the catch. It was a 1-yard swing pass that went for a touchdown. Then he had a great statistical game against the worst team in football, the Titans, in which he lost. And then he played a team that gives up a ton of big plays, and they had 4 first downs in their first 11 drives. The only time they looked even slightly competent was complete garbage time. If we were grading it, if you were doing Brou grades the Cowboys, you grade Shedeur, that was an F from Shedeur.
He also has one of the worst offensive lines in the league. The worst, at least according to, I think, PFF, the worst receiving core in the league. So it's not like he's got a ton to work with.
I agree completely. I'm just saying,
But Brou,
same against Tennessee. He did not look good.
Browns have the 4th pick. You're drafting, if you're in charge, you're drafting a quarterback?
I'd have to, I mean, I've seen these quarterbacks in college play here and there, but I'd have to, really scout them if I was the Browns before I draft one. I'm not of the opinion that every year there's a great quarterback coming out. And we see that. That's
only take one
but
if
we
you like
treat
one.
it like
No doubt.
that. We you got to take. None of these quarterbacks might be worthy of the number 1 or even a top 10 pick. We'll see. But I wouldn't automatically do it. And he's still got, 3 games left?
He's got 3 games left. I agree with you, Brou, that you shouldn't just be like, we have to draft the quarterback if you don't like him. My concern for Shedeur is if he is starting kind of from scratch again after this game, as far as, is he ahead, behind, even schedule, is he is running out of time to give them incentive not to bring in someone ahead of them. So, like, let's either because they fall in love with someone in the draft and they draft someone, or they say, okay, free agent veteran quarterback reclamation project X, we're bringing you in as a stopgap. Because
what about bringing you in to compete with? And again, he has to play well these next 3 games.
Right. I think he has to play really well because the point Danny made that it's hard to take you totally seriously wearing that, but you did make. Please don't.
Okay.
You did make I think an important point, which is a lot of quarterbacks that have gotten a ton of grace and a huge, Bryce Young as an example, a lot of opportunity, would not have gotten those opportunities if teams hadn't expended the resource of first overall pick or top 10 pick. It's just easier to cut bait or to not give as many chances to a 5th round pick.
Would you say though the ceiling he showed last week, that's got to buy you something?
The Titans, though, bro.
No,
it buys him the rest of the year.
The Titans played several teams, and a lot of quarterbacks didn't do that.
I think that's right. I think it did buy him something. It bought him the rest of the season. He was named the starter the rest of the year after that game.
You hate seeing anyone get hurt, and then when it's an icon and a face of the league, it's awful. If what Andy Reid said today is true, that he avoided any further structural damage to the knee. He said it appears that there is no damage beyond that, but they're still getting the second opinion, and we'll see. Like, if that ends up being true, and he's back for the start of next year, which Nick says is the goal, and that obviously makes sense, then they were probably not going to make the playoffs this year, and he gets to start next year, and we didn't really miss out on much extra of Patrick Mahomes. Like, as weird as that is, like, it's a bummer for him, because now this offseason, he doesn't just get to enjoy his offseason and relax and then attack football. He has to attack rehab. But if they were going to miss the playoffs this year and he's there for the opener next year, we didn't really miss all that much extra from Mahomes. But I do think narratively, like, get ready for 9+ months and maybe longer, maybe until he wins another Super Bowl or wins another MVP of Josh Allen's the best quarterback in football. Like, it's going to be very difficult. I think a majority opinion going into next year, you ask 100 sports fans, who's the best quarterback in the NFL? I don't think the majority would say 15 on the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that anytime a player is knocked out with a catastrophic injury, you have to see how they play again. You have to see how they play post-injury.
But it was already trending in that direction, too.
Yeah, and
it probably would have been there anyway, even if he didn't get hurt, if they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I also think that this is, I'm not trying to turn this to a Josh conversation, but to answer your question, that is going to be wholly and entirely predicated on this postseason, whether it should be or not. Because now the field seems so clear for Josh, he will get really hammered if they were to lose in round 1 to Houston, a team that already beat him, and he has that type of game. I guess they're unlikely to play Houston round 1, but you understand what I mean. If they make the Super Bowl, then it will be the majority opinion. And if they win the Super Bowl, it will be the universal opinion, and that's fine. As I said last week, there is no moment in NFL history where one quarterback was the universally regarded best quarterback in football for a decade consecutively. Like, during Brady's entirety of his prime, other guys popped up. Whether it was Manning with the Broncos was, he's the best. Certainly Rodgers, Brady, and so all that happened. What I think it means for the Chiefs, for Patrick, is this. He now has his first, I don't want to call it challenge. He's had so many challenges. But such a unique challenge placed in front of him of how will I come back from this and how will this change him as a player. And I'm not convinced that that has to be negative. Like, for one reason or another, Tom Brady was better post-ACL. And maybe it's because he became even more cerebral. Maybe it was going to happen with or without it.
There was at some point he made a health switch, too.
Oh, yeah, the TB12 method and all of that. I also think that where I am, again, trying to take positives from an overwhelmingly negative situation, Brou, is I do think that this forces the Chiefs to, in their planning for next season, do less of Patrick will take care of that bucket. Which means, like, I think the offensive line, actually, when healthy, you have 4 of your 5 starters in place. You have a rookie left tackle who was excellent when he played, a second-year left guard who had switched from tackle who was quite good. Your center's an all-pro, your right guard's an all-pro, right tackle. Like, if you have 4 of your 5 spots, that's fine. But if they are forced into prioritizing a running game next year because they don't know if Patrick's going to be back in week 1 or they don't want to put it all on his plate, I think that's actually good. I think if they weren't going to win the Super Bowl, and it was pretty apparent by halftime of yesterday's game, this team's not Super Bowl caliber, even if I didn't want to admit it, having a full offseason for everyone, having a third-place schedule, having the 10th, 11th, 12th pick of the draft could be beneficial in all those ways after what has been, they have played 21 more games over the previous 7 years than a team that didn't make the playoffs. That's more than they've played 8 and a quarter seasons in 7 seasons, and now they get a bit of a break from that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And I said earlier, Danny, they're also going to have to rebuild that Chiefs mystique and that Mahomes mystique. That might be getting to what you were talking about, people saying Allen's the best quarterback in the league. Because the quarterbacks, I think he did have an advantage over a lot of guys. I mean, late in the game, you thought they got the ball, they're winning. I honestly, obviously before he got hurt, I didn't think that yesterday. It's one of the few times, and this year there have been several times where when they got the ball late with a chance to tie or win, I didn't think he was going to do it. And that was automatic before this season. It was just like, he's got the ball late, they're going to win.
And go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one thing, like, as the Herbert guy, which kind of makes me a de facto Chargers guy, when the Cowboys beat the Eagles and Chiefs in back-to-back weeks, it was like, how good are the Cowboys? Can they make a run? That's really impressive. They beat the teams that's what the Chargers just did. Chargers have won 6 of 7. I get it. It gets overshadowed by the Mahomes injury. And
you believe in them?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you really?
You believe they can make a run?
The AFC is wide open.
Wide open.
Herbert's awesome. Their defense is playing well.
Great coach.
They can make a run. Absolutely. The offensive line is a huge problem, but they can make a run.
What team in the AFC would you say can't make a run?
What's up, KW?
You don't think I think every team that makes the playoffs in the AFC can make a run. I think that we're just like
throwing around the AFC is wide open all the time. Here's the double or nothing bet for the steak restaurant.
Well, we have to go to the steak restaurant.
Yeah.
No,
but a new bet. Wild wants to make a new bet.
I'm starving myself until this dinner so I can run up a tab.
Here's the issue, and I don't want to have a fight, but I scoured my face, and sometimes I watch this back. I'm like, I'm supposed to be the likable one. And I'm always like this.
You haven't been that in months, bro. Ever since the Patriots got good.
That's
That's why I'm here now.
When the Chargers lose, because of a porous offensive line, because Herbert's been hit more than any other quarterback, then what are we? Then we see this flashing.
No, we don't want to
red,
hear those excuses.
So I have a hard time. Like, yeah, they can make a run. Herbert's awesome, but you know how they're going to lose.
Right, but my guess is your and I's reaction to that is, and I shouldn't, but if the Bills lose because of their run defense, yes, it's been there all year. If the Patriots lose because of an uncharacteristic game from Drake May, we can say, well, he doesn't have any playoff experience. Like, we can do that with every team that isn't the Chiefs, that doesn't have the resume and the bona fides.
But that's not where I was going with it. Where I was going with it is, and this is really the genesis of so many of my probably more vitriolic than they need to be Herbert arguments is, in back-to-back weeks they have won because of their defense. And then we're like, man, Herbert is awesome. And very, very few quarterbacks, especially highly paid quarterbacks, get to play for perfect teams. And so I see them beat the Eagles where neither team what was the final score of that game?
22-19.
Okay. Where they hold the Eagles to 19 points and force 5 turnovers. They beat the Chiefs in a game where they hold the Chiefs to 13 points, force a red zone turnover. And then I simultaneously have to hear about all that Herbert's overcoming. His team's weakness right now is they have a very injured offensive line, which is obviously very detrimental to a quarterback's stats. But you have an excellent head coach. You have, for the second straight year, an awesome defense that is peaking at the end of the year. You're supposed to have this great quarterback. So I am glad to hear that you believe they can go on a run, because I agree with you. If Herbert is the guy that you and his defenders say he is, they have enough in, I do believe, an AFC where there is no team that we're like, man, they're just going to have to screw up. There's not a Rams in the AFC.
I don't see any, Josh, let's work on this tomorrow. Show me a team that makes the Super Bowl with their quarterback being hit more than any other quarterback. I think it is just like going across country on a car with 3 tires.
But so
you're not going that far.
KW, can I just, and I know we have to go, I bet you could do a thing with every team currently in the AFC playoffs and find something about them that no team has made the Super Bowl doing. When's the last time a Super Bowl quarterback made the Super Bowl in his first playoffs? When's the last time for the Bills?
Plenty of times, but
plenty of times. The first time they were ever in the playoffs. I think Tom Brady is the last one. I think that's a quarter century ago.
What about sophomore quarterbacks, Ben?
Joe Burrow's your comp, by the way, for got sacked the most and then made it to the Super Bowl.
Burrow also made Burrow also, by the way, made the Super Bowl in their first playoffs.
I think these little asterisk type statistics are very different than getting hit, your quarterback being hit. I think it's different than tight end drops.
That's how good Herbert is. I may be sidelined, but I'm not defeated. This injury is my greatest test. He goes on to say, I'm deeply grateful to the Packers organization and my teammates for their unwavering support, love, and belief in me during this season. So obviously, Micah, an elite player here. Greg, I'll start with you. Do you still see the Packers making a run?
Look, you both know this was the team that I had representing not only the NFC, but actually winning the entire Super Bowl. With that being said, obviously, this injury drastically changes how I view this team moving forward. I still think that they're a very impactful team. A deep playoff run, this is going to boil down to what Matt LaFleur is going to do as it pertains to this offense and how they're going to look. Is he going to put more on the shoulders of Jordan Love? Because right now, when you lose an impact player like Micah Parsons, it not only deflates the defense, but it also impacts you as offensively because you're not as sticky defensively. You're not as stingy defensively. But we went through something similar in the years we played and in the years I played where we lost players in our Super Bowl run year, critical players. We didn't lose them this early in the season in terms of the actual engines that run either offense or defense. But one of the things that I'm concerned with is how it's landing in the locker room. The impact that he has will linger. Now, how long it lingers, we'll see. But it's definitely going to impact this team moving forward.
Yeah, the run is officially off the table for me. I just don't see it, and I agree with you. I think the rest of the season is on Jordan Love and LaFleur's shoulders. They are a top 10 offense, but I think what we witnessed yesterday, especially when their offensive lineman Zach Tom went down, the Broncos heated them up, and Jordan Love couldn't withstand the pressure, and it got ugly fast. The first half, when they were kind of rolling things, got going, okay, we got a dogfight on their hands. That offensive line started to struggle. Jordan Love started to struggle. And now I'm saying to myself, when your scare factor is on IR, what's next? And so now we're thinking about January, and this is what Jordan Love looks like in January. This is Jordan Love in January, right? And so you're telling me a banged-up offensive line, your defense is your star defensive players on IR, and this is what you have to look for as far as production out of Jordan Love. I just don't see a run.
Right, so Jordan Love, he threw 2 picks yesterday.
He did.
And this one, the deep one here that ends up having Watson get hurt, and it looks like he escaped a bad injury, which is good, obviously, because he's probably their best wide receiver, and they're certainly their best deep threat. Little underthrown, and maybe the best cornerback in football makes a great play. The other one that you just saw, off his guy's hands, but it is a little behind him. So you could, if you're being complimentary, I guess, to Jordan Love, you'd say neither of those interceptions are on him. But the truth is, what I've always said is he's streaky.
Yeah.
He's a streaky player. They have lost games this year where they allowed 13 points, 16 points, 10 points. Now, if the defense isn't as good, and so those types of performances are probably unlikely, where you're going to hold teams to 10 points, 13 points, you're going to need to consistently score in the high 20s. You're playing the best teams. You're probably not going to win the division, though they are favorites to
Well,
like
they got
2
to hunt
points.
the Bears matchup, so because that'll lock them for the 6th or 7th. They avoid the Rams.
Yeah, you could. Listen, there's still a ton. I mean, we just saw last week the Bears went from the 1 seed to the 7 seed.
Yeah.
Right now, the Rams play the Seahawks, and that's a 1 matchup to the 5. So a ton is still to be determined in the NFC seeding. But there's a real good chance that the Packers are going to have to go on the road for 3 straight games in order to make it to a Super Bowl. If your defense is damaged and your quarterback is streaky, it's just a lot of ifs that need to align. So can they do it? Yeah, I think Jordan Love's been playing great football for a while now. It's just much less likely.
Again, if you're in that locker room, you're hearing all of this, you know what everybody is saying, and you know what the odds are, but you don't believe that it is something that you can't do. And I say that from experience because when we lost Nick Barnett, one of our leading tacklers, obviously Jermichael Finley on offense, Ryan Grant on offense, we lost a lot of guys our Super Bowl run year. We were still of the mindset and the mentality that we still had enough to get it done. And so I believe that they understand that. They have that mentality as well. However, and I'm not even going to say however. And I feel this is why I still believe in this team, because when I look at the landscape in the NFC, there is no absolutely dominant team, both on the offensive side and defensive side.
You didn't see the Rams?
I
don't know if you saw.
I saw the Rams.
Oh, okay.
I saw the Rams, and they can be gotten. They've been gotten. There's no absolute dominant team. So for me, they still have a shot, but it's going to go strictly through and exclusively through Jordan Love.
So, guys, I said on Friday, the winner of this game, I'd be very impressed either way. I thought it was a fascinating matchup. But if the question is, what did the Broncos prove? To me, they finally, and I've been a skeptic of them this year, they finally proved that they are in that group of teams that can win a Super Bowl. Am I picking them to do it? No. But they can, because they finally won a game because of Bo Nix. And not because Bo Nix played well in the fourth quarter in a weird game against the Giants. He played well start to finish. And let's look at Bo Nix during this 11-game win streak, okay? In the first 10 games, he was fine, but he was a passenger. And all those one-score games and all those one-score games against bad teams, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't believe in you. I don't believe you can go undefeated in games when your quarterback has a passer rating under 85. But then against Green Bay, not a great defense, but a very good defense, he is chucking it all over the field. And now they are a 3-1 favorite, Willie, to be the 1 seed in the AFC, which means everyone's got to go to altitude and go deal with that crowd and deal with that defense with a loud environment. Broncos can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, to your point, they played complimentary football, and it was good to see this time of year. I don't know if anybody saw it, when we saw Dre Greenlaw damn near getting a fight with one of the Packers before the game, I was like, that's how a defense looks this time of year. That's how you should be fired up and passionate and ready to go. But you talk about the Broncos defensively, they stepped it up a notch. You talk about Riley Moss and Patrick Surtain pretty much having picks on Jordan Love. And I also thought one of the things that stood out, was Green Bay. Their final 6 drives, they held Green Bay to Broncos held them to 3 points. And so I'm looking at this Broncos defense with Bo Nix and the way they're playing together. I said, man, they're my favorite. I don't see nobody in the AFC beating them. I don't see.
Wow.
Be honest, especially after the way the Pats played. Yeah, I got the Broncos.
Well, for me, this was all about Bo Nix and him taking the next step. And he's been, since they played the Kansas City Chiefs, you kind of been alluding to that, he's been next level. He's been what his coach has been advertising and marketing him as from the beginning of the season. And we just have been seeing it exclusively in the fourth quarter. If they get this version of Bo Nix from start to finish,
right,
knowing that they have that defense to back him, they're definitely capable of winning a Super Bowl. And he's gotten better, and I believe it's because of the confidence. When you beat somebody like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who's dominated that division, and you have been the reason or named by your coach and deemed the team that, man, they're my next Super Bowl team. Like, this team can win a Super Bowl, and you haven't performed well individually, and you overcome that with the performance he had against the Chiefs, and then you follow that up the remaining weeks and the following weeks, and then we see this on full display against the Green Bay Packer team that we all feel like could come out of the NFC. This is why this team is going to have a shot. If Bo Nix is this version, they're going to be a force in the AFC.
It was a statement game.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.